Missing in Houston. It's our weekly column on clicktohouston.com, spotlighting missing persons cases, stories from families and friends hoping to find answers and one day reunite with their loved one. This week, we're digging deeper into the story of Jon'al White, a beloved high school football coach who disappeared last June. Joining me this morning to talk more about Jon'al White's story is KPRC2 digital content producer Holly Galvan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Jon'al.
Jon'al. Talk to us about this case.
Yeah, so his family is very dedicated to spreading the word about him. We were connected by the Texas Center for the Missing, which is a local organization. They do all they can to help.
A lot of work.
They're simply amazing.
Yeah.
And in particular, his sister, Reginae, has been particularly involved with spreading the case. She's come down to Houston several times. They've hired a private investigator. They're spreading missing person flyers.
Where does she live?
She actually is in the military.
Oh, the military, so all over.
Right.
Yeah. And so she's quite active in her brother's missing persons case.
They're an extremely close-knit family, and it's been, just devastating, his disappearance on them.
Do they have any idea as to what happened? Was there something leading up to his disappearance that might explain what's gone on?
No, so basically what happened, he was a football coach in New Orleans, and he wanted a new start. He came to Houston to try to find a new job. They did have active communication with him until one day it just kind of stopped. Interesting.
How did they get word, or obviously when you're communicating with somebody and you're not getting responses, you're not getting answers, that's alarming. But talk us through those moments.
Yeah, so they were actively communicating with him through Facebook Messenger. He didn't have a phone at the time, so he was using, Wi-Fi, and then, one day it all just kind of went silent.
I know too there was some sort of, I don't know, is suspicious the correct terminology when it comes to his bank account, that the activity there?
Yeah, so initially it kind of was a glimmer of hope. They thought, this would provide them some answers with where he was last at. And, as far as they knew, he was in the Houston area. But then when they accessed the bank records, it said Missouri City. He doesn't know anyone in Missouri City.
Our Missouri City. The local Missouri
yes,
City,
sir.
okay.
And he doesn't know anyone there. They don't know why he would be there. But, unfortunately, the account overdrafted. It was closed. So while it was information, it didn't really provide anything solid.
Have there been any tips since?
Sadly, no.
No tips since. How can people help if they're watching right now and they might have information on his case or tips? How can they get involved?
I mean, sharing these stories on social media, that's a big thing, because you never know who will see it. Any tip, no matter how small, he's a big guy, he's extremely athletic. If you see anyone that might look like him, just kind of giving that to police. I know the Houston police are searching for him, but it also might be helpful spreading the word around Sienna, Sugar Land, Missouri City, that area. His family is extremely active on social media sharing his story.
Do they have a page dedicated to this search?
They don't, but they've been sharing in a lot of missing person groups on Facebook.
Talking to detectives on cold cases and missing persons cases, one thing that I've come to realize is, especially on older cases, oftentimes these detectives, these investigators hear from people, from the public, and they say, oh, I thought that case was solved. I didn't realize, that's why I didn't say anything. And so they're trying to, when you speak to investigators, they're wanting anyone who might have any sort of information or some sort of tip to come forward, because you never know if that's the missing puzzle piece here.
Exactly. Any piece of information could be so helpful to him and his family.
Well, we so much appreciate you, Holly, coming on the show and taking time to speak about White's case. If people want more information on this, they can look for this story on our website, clicktohouston.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We do appreciate it. And of course, if you have a story that you want Holly to look into, a missing persons case, you can email her at hgalvan@kprc.com. That email address is right there on your screen.
Thank you.
It is